This is perfect for the Denver Broncos as we are now entering last few weeks of the trade deadline being available for the Broncos and some moves that might be necessary considering the injuries that have been sustained on the offensive line and kind of securing the offensive line's strength as it has been kind of shaky this season so far. I'm Sebastian with Broncos Digest. Welcome back, everybody. And still riding high off of that win, obviously, but at the same time, it's good to kind of break down these possibilities and honestly, something that might be a necessity considering just where the injury is, how much of a struggle it has caused in the past. In the Jets game in particular, but we'll break it down as we go forward, and you'll let me know your thoughts in the comments, hopefully. But first, make sure to subscribe right now. Not nearly as many viewers who watch this stuff is actually subscribed. It's like 80%. So just hit the bell, hit the button, join Broncos Digest, and join us here today. But let's just jump right into it because I think this is actually a really, really cool trade concept that was pitched in an article today. So Josh Buckhalter from Heavy Sports had to say, the Denver Broncos got a solid performance from former undrafted free agent and fill-in starter Alex Pajewski in Week 7, but a trade could still be in order before the deadline. A target like Joel Bitonio of the Cleveland Browns profiles among the pricier potential options, but he's also one of the best. Most importantly, the Browns' current trajectory could make him available before the deadline passes. The Broncos are looking to bide time until starting left guard Ben Powers returns from a torn bicep, they hope, in December. So there's still a long period of time that the Broncos are trying to bide in the meantime. And then this is continued by Mike Kleiss from 9 News. He says he's 34, a 12-year starter, all with the Browns, playing on a 1-year, $15 million contract, which is steep and might have to be reworked for cap purposes, but he'd be an ideal 1-year rental player. He's good friends with Broncos left tackle Garrett Bowles, a relationship built through having the same agency representatives. A player of Bitonio's stature may well have a say in a possible trade, but a chance to play for a likely playoff team could be enticing for a player near the end of his career. So people might be asking, okay, Seb, this guy's near the end of his career. He's been with one team the whole time. Why would he be traded? It seems like he's more of a culture guy, more of just a Cleveland guy. And that can be, very much, you could say that about Tom Brady. You could say that about Peyton Manning. You never know. People really do want to win. These guys are competitive for a reason. He, I think, now has more starts in Cleveland Browns history, more than any tackle, including Joe Thomas, which is nuts. So that is a really just remarkable achievement that he has gained there in Cleveland. So he's already knocked that out. That's not something he's trying to achieve. It's already done. But now it's a matter of, okay, Cleveland, they have 2 wins on the season, but maybe there's a chance, there's like a small chance that they're trying to see maybe there's a playoff run. So them losing this weekend could be a huge benefit to the Broncos in terms of them being willing to trade this guy because 1-year rentals, you'd be like, oh, that means he's not that good. That's not true at all. It just means he's near the end of his career. Look at a Mike Evans, like he's doing on 1 year, Levante David on 1-year stuff. There's tons of examples of stuff like that. But these guys are just not sure if they want to continue the year after their contract. They, they'll do 1-year contracts and then see in the offseason whether they're going to keep playing or not. And so that's relatively common. And I want to emphasize this guy has been really just a rock stay in Cleveland. Everyone loves him, and the fact that he already has a connection with Bowles, a friendship, is huge. We are in very much need of a left guard, and with the Jets game, Pint, the guy who came in, was really struggling, really having just a bad time trying to, fill in the shoes of Powers. That was causing a lot of problems for the Broncos. The run game could not get going. And then we were obviously struggling quite a bit in the first 3 quarters of the Giants game. But then, things turned around and we had a historic 4th quarter. But that still doesn't, mean that those offensive struggles aren't happening, that they didn't happen. I think it's kind of emphasizes it almost just as much. So I think it is more than worth considering, okay, this guy is a great locker room guy. He's only on a 1-year contract. You make some kind of deal with the Browns for a trade, a mid-round trade, and some contract stuff, so that you can get him onto this team, and we have a good rotational guy. Because once Powers comes back in December, maybe we can use him at right guard. I mean, he'll be a massive boost to the offensive line wherever we need him. It's hard to keep an offensive line completely healthy through the whole season. So, and the Broncos are really, really light and shallow in terms of their offensive line depth. That's the main worry there. So that's why this trade makes so much sense for the Broncos, and why. Listen, Pajewski, he did a solid job. I don't think he allowed a sack, thankfully. But it wasn't like remarkable by any circumstances. It was just like, it was good. It was solid. Quinn Mearners, I keep butchering that name, but he said that Pajewski did great for him to step up and play on the left side of the line, which he hasn't done in 8 years, I think. He was telling me he did an incredible job. He was throwing his hands in pass protection. He's a grinder in the run game. He keeps his foot moving. Now, that's obviously high praise and really, really good to hear. It was just one game, and it was, particularly a special performance in the fourth quarter by just the entire offense. So will that continue, or was it more of a fluke? We're not sure. ESPN Cleveland did list that Njoku, Bitonio, Wyatt Teller, and more Browns veterans are all listed as potential trade targets per league executives and coaches. So per Adam Schefter. So he is someone that they are willing to trade for their future. The Browns are definitely not in a place to make a playoff run. They're probably fooling themselves that they can, maybe steal a division from Pittsburgh or, Cincinnati or any of those guys. But at the same time, it's just one of those things that it's probably worth accumulating draft picks rather than getting rid of them as they've done in the past. But there's this shout out that they did that Joel Bitonio on his 168th start, the most by any Browns player since 1999. That is nuts. And people don't talk about this guy like they should. I mean, just a model of consistency and really great offensive line play. It's one of those jobs that if your name gets called, it typically means you're not doing a good job more than doing a good job. And that's why I think that he really stands out in this sense. But this is where like the actual trade proposal came in. So Heavy Sports trade proposal copies the 4th round draft capital the Chicago Bears sent to the Kansas City Chiefs for 4-time Super Bowl champ Joe Thuney this past spring. So the Broncos would get Joel Bitonio, and the Browns would get 2026 4th round pick from Denver for obviously next season. Bitonio is a 7-time Pro Bowler and a 2-time first-team All-Pro. He has also been durable, logging full regular season slates in 8 of his previous 11 seasons in the NFL. So a relatively healthy career, and just some really, really exciting stuff, and that Bo Nix and the Broncos could desperately use, because it feels like if the pass game's not working, and it's just everything falls apart. The run game's not able to. It's just the whole offense needs to have better line play. We thought that we had one of the best offensive lines in football, and there's times where Bo has clean pockets, but doesn't really. It seems like he's not seeing the field. But considering these moments in the fourth quarter where it's just utter brilliance, like in the Eagles game and now this game with the Giants, you're like, okay, we know what he's capable of. Should Sean just let the reins loose earlier on and let this guy ball out? But it involves good offensive line play, good protection. Now, like I said, I don't expect this trade to happen this week. They will see how Bajewski plays against, I was blanking there. The Cowboys, probably going to do pretty well. If I had to say, their defense is probably the worst in the league. And we're probably going to be having a shootout because the Cowboys' offense is probably the best in the league. So that'll be a very interesting game, and we'll see how he holds up against, talent that he should be able to do okay against. But then we'll also be paying attention to the Browns game, see if they lose, then what happens there? Are we looking at, them kind of selling off some of their stars there? So tell me what you guys think about Joel Bitonio and like his fit with the Broncos. Do you like the fact that Garrett Bowles has a friendship with him? Do you think that he would be able to come in and do great work here, or do you think a 4th round pick is maybe too high of a price to pay for a 1-year rental? You feel like maybe, listen, we're not sure if we're actually in our Super Bowl window right now. This team is still figuring out its identity going into Week 8, so maybe let's hold off on something like this. Let me know in the comments below. I'm actually really interested to see what you guys think, but I just feel like good offensive line play, you can't get enough of it, because once it starts getting bad, it is hard to overcome. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you in the next video.